first, let's talk about the title of the show and a couple of things that I think some people are going to want to hear from you. Winning together. I feel like it's important to be on the same page.
Absolutely.
So I got you on the show. That's a sign that we're on the same page. Let's talk. Winning is also success. So I'm gonna stop talking.
Okay.
And I want you to give me your version, your definition of success.
Okay. My definition of success would be happiness in all areas of your life, not just your money, not just your family, not just your friends, but all of those together. I don't think there are a lot of people that call themselves successful, but don't enjoy what they do. Right. They don't enjoy going home. They don't enjoy their children. And I feel like we're successful because we have all those things.
Awesome. Well, I agree. That's I'm actually taking that in as you're saying it. And I do agree. All areas. So, you mentioned money, family, home. It's important to love your environment.
Yes.
At home.
Yes. And
at work.
Yes.
Whether it's a business or you're an employee. What's some things that as an employer, because I'm an employer, that you can tell me that I need to make sure that I provide for employees?
I think that wanting to come to work every day has created in your business and mine. When you have people that come every day and want to come and want to succeed for you, I feel like that you too, you build better people when they come here. We want them to be successful with us, not just to make us successful.
Right.
Contrary to what some people may believe about us.
Yeah.
We want people to be better even if they leave.
Right.
And that can only happen if they love to come where they are every day. Right. If they don't want to be around you, it's not a fun place.
Right.
I don't want to work somewhere where I'm miserable every day while I'm there. There's not really enough money to make that okay.
So money without the happiness or without the meaning
doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
Doesn't mean anything. I mean, we didn't have anything at one point in our life, and I don't think we were unhappy.
Right. Right. And you know what? And I actually want to talk about that as well. While we're on success, so success looks like to you happiness. I agree. At least a quest for happiness, an opportunity to be happy, helping others, and having I guess you'd say a peaceful environment.
Yes.
And then if you can do that
and make money.
And make money, that's good.
Yes.
What about health? What about health and fitness? Does that play a role? Do you feel like you can be truly successful and be unfit? I won't say unhealthy because some things you can't control.
Right.
But fitness.
I mean, I don't think you can fully enjoy it as much. Maybe you can call yourself successful, but we think it's very important to invest in our health, and then our children do the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, I guess you could be somewhat, but to your fullest potential, no, I don't. Okay. I don't believe that.
So, do you have daily rituals that you do to help you? Well, let's just talk about fitness right now. Do you work out regularly? How do you take care of yourself?
I work out 3 times a week with Anthony White at Team Fit, and it's pretty serious,
pretty intense
when you're there. Yeah. But it helps me all the way around. Helps me feel better. Helps me physically be better. It helps my mind to be better. I report there, so it keeps me on a schedule. So that works for me. I mean, I know you do it at home, but that doesn't work for me.
Well, we're all motivated differently, and I think that's a part of success in a marriage. And what works for me may not work for you.
Right.
So, speaking of marriage, we're not counselors, no. And there's plenty of reasons why we're not maybe qualified to give advice, but we probably in some areas that we are qualified to give advice. You've heard Paul, you've heard my guests, you've heard a lot of people describe me.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say are some keys to my success, because it is fair to say, I'll ask you first of all, is it fair to say that we've been wildly successful in the last 2 years?
Yes.
Okay. So, and that, as you have already mentioned, has not always been the case.
No.
So let's before
Always worked hard.
Yeah.
But working hard doesn't always end in
I'm gonna jump ahead of my notes because I think it fits in right here. How do you feel about other people who are really, really successful?
How do I feel about them?
How do you feel about them?
I'm happy for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah. How do you feel about people that said, or that say, or that think? Remember to smile.
Okay.
How do you feel about people that said, "You, April, you sure are lucky. You got lucky."
I don't like that very much.
Yeah.
To say that we are lucky is something that rubs me very much the wrong way,
Right.
because to get where we are
Mm-hmm.
was nothing about luck.
Yeah.
Nothing. We worked hard. We sacrificed.
Great.
There
word.
were times where we didn't see our children very much at all.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to cry.
Yeah.
So luck had nothing to do with that.
Okay.
Maybe blessed.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take over because you are getting emotional. That's fine. That's perfect. That's where the partnership comes in. There's certain things that I can talk about and remain not quite as emotional, but it is very emotional. And if I talk about it very much, I'll get emotional too. As a matter of fact, I really hesitate to go ahead and say this because I don't want you to just fall apart over there.
I'm getting it back together.
Okay, but there's I'll let you say it because I think you can say it. Just stay composed as you can. Doesn't matter if you break down. Have you ever had to decide between feeding yourself and feeding your kids?
Absolutely.
I mean, and how long ago was that?
I guess 10 years ago.
10 years ago. So,
And
I guess
they don't even know that.
No, they don't know it. They don't need to know it. And, they need to know that the struggle, life's a struggle. So we try to make them struggle, as a matter of fact. But, they need to know that resilience and the sacrifice. And I tell my people all the time, don't sacrifice without a purpose.
Right.
You don't want to be tired for the sake of being tired.
Right.
You don't want to stay away from your kids for the sake of staying away from your kids. It better have a meaning or a purpose behind it. So,
and with that being said, we've done some of that too to get where we are.
What's that now?
Sacrifice without. I mean, the end didn't end the way
we
that
wanted
we thought
it.
or we thought it would several times, which now is a good thing.
Much better.
But at the time, it wasn't.
So to that point, the person who's trying, the wife, was taken from that angle. The wife who has a husband who's ambitious, goal-oriented, works hard, positive attitude, and struggles through the ups and downs. What advice? We'll start with the wife. What advice would you give the wife to if it's a low spot? Because it has been like this.
Oh, absolutely. I think you just have to stay on track. I think that's the best thing to say is if you love that person and you truly believe that they're going to get you where you want to go, you just got to ride it and be supportive.
Support, huge.
Don't degrade them when they're down. As a matter of fact, at one time, I had to step in and save the day.
Absolutely.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to do that from both sides. You can't resent the other one. I've heard women say things like, he's never home. He works too much. He does this. He does that. It gets lonely sometimes in those areas, but that's part of it too. I mean, if you want a successful life and you want your husband to be successful, you're going to spend a lot of time without him.
Yeah. So true. And that's why I say it's so important. And that's why I'm doing this show. And that's why I asked her to do the show, is because there's some things that I feel like can really help you. And you got to know these things. And that's so important, man. You got, if you had not supported me, man, it would have been a nightmare. So, to the husband that's trying, and, I think this will tie into the question I was going to ask you earlier. So let me back up to that question first. You've heard other people describe me. what's my key attributes that's helped us, definitely the partnership with you, that's helped us be successful? What's the key attributes? Maybe you can name one or two.
I think ambition. You're a huge you have huge motivation. You do just truly want to make other people better. Drive. I would say all of those things. Like it's never enough for you.
Yeah. So
in a good way.
Right. Maybe. I mean, I
sometimes it teeters on the other way, but
yeah. And we're learning. You know, we're gonna.
You can't get where we are without those things. You can't.
So to the husband or man in a relationship, and this, you know, it could be the woman, but right now we're talking about the man, because most of the time it's a man and a woman together, and the man who's ambitious, you use that word, but facing some difficulty. What will you tell him that so he could have some success like we've had, maybe even way more?
Just keep getting up every day and doing what you're doing. I mean, you got to keep going, even though it feels like you're not going anywhere. Sometimes you just got to keep going.
Sometimes you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, and that's true.
So let me just say that sometimes you're not going anywhere.
Sometimes you have to change where you're going.
Is she still close enough you can hear her, rather? Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes you are on the wrong track. Maybe you need to reevaluate where you're going, but you don't want to quit too soon either.
Well, success comes at a price. You're not going to have it. It ain't going to be easy. If it is easy, you won't hold on to it or it won't matter.